Welcome back to the Circle of Kings podcast, your home for combat sports, where we're all about scrapping and rapping.
Yo. Welcome back to the Circle of Kings podcast, BigFace. You know, we capping, we scrapping and rapping. That's what we do, music and combat sports. And it is my pleasure to introduce y'all to one of the baddest women on the planet, the current reigning strawweight BKFC champ of the world, three-time defending Miss Britton Hart.
Up. There we are. Hey,
Yeah,
what's
there
up,
we go. There we go.
guys? Super awesome to catch up with ya. But I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction. That was awesome.
Well, you awesome. I mean, I appreciate you taking your time out to talk to us, man. I'm a big fan, so we got a lot to talk about here. And
Right?
I ran into you really quickly in Salem while you were coming in. I gave you a little fist bump. You was going into the back before you met Miss Melanie. So I was ringside for that fight, which was exciting. And I got to see you live for the first time. I watched your fights, but it was the first time I was able to see you live. And man, you dismantled Melanie Shaw.
Wow. You know what? Actually, it's crazy. And to know that you're the man because everyone's hearing it first. This is my first podcast since that fight, which is
Yeah.
wild. So I've actually never been on a podcast or really talked about kind of what that fight camp or what that experience was like. But it was one of the. It, honestly, it was a badass one for the books. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you look like you were fast, you were technically sharp, look like you were in shape. I mean, you dominated. I mean, it was a and I could tell that you were trying to stay clean. You know what I'm saying? You were trying not to get cut. And I know you had some things in sight really quickly you wanted to do. Talk to us about the hand. Did you injure the hand in the fight?
Yeah, so if you guys watch the fight back, I remember it so clearly because I watched the clip over and over and I was like, oh my God, please don't let it be that bad. But I hit her and I looked down at my hand, and that's why I did the whole stunt. Although it was cool because everybody thought, wow, Britain's such a badass. But I put my hands behind my back and was like, I kind of tried my like late week attempt on being like one of the boys, got the head movement, my hands are
I
behind my
saw that.
back.
I remember that.
I
I
was
remember
doing
that.
it. Yeah, like I was, it was cool. Like that's really what I wish that was. But really, it was an adaptation to my hand being broke. My hand was broke, and as a fighter and as a warrior and just someone who's lived through it, lesson I've learned is don't ever let anyone know you're hurt. And so it's really hard for me to go through this because I don't want anyone to know I'm hurt. And that's sometimes we work on camouflaging that, but coming back after that, I've just really wanted to fight in Thailand. I did, you're right. It was so wild, and I've wanted to like share this with the world. I just haven't found a right time. But like, I was really bothered that this girl thought I underestimated her because I'm telling you, I never worked so hard. And I think, words or talk is cheap, but when you saw me, I was in the
Oh
best
yeah.
shape I've ever been in. I've never
Wow.
looked that clean cut. I just did so good in my fight camp because every day I wanted that Thailand fight. I know that I said you shouldn't look past the Virginia fight, but I was, which is why I was training so hard. Because I was like, I'm going to show the world that I didn't underestimate nothing and that I am ready for this. And so I'm not going to get cut. So every day I was like, you're going to train your freaking ass off. I trained like 6, 8 hours a day. And on minimum, like I would leave at 6 in the morning and not be back till 10 p.m. and still go to Planet Fitness at midnight a couple times just because I was doing the most during that camp, which was good for me because it kept me in shape. But anyways, when I prayed to God, I know in my heart I did the best I can. I said, just please don't let me get cut. Just don't let me get cut. I go in there. I never once asked protection or safety over my hands. It's so wild to me because I usually do, but I kind of got ahead of myself thinking that I'm such a badass. And that was my 11th bare knuckle fight, and I've never broken my hand, not once.
Wow.
I'll be
Well,
hit
that's
in the back
amazing.
after.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. That's amazing that you haven't injured your hands already because bare knuckle, man, you're going to see a lot of metacarpal injury, a lot of hand injuries. So it's amazing that you didn't. But you were so fat. Your speed was so like overpowered in that fight. You were tight. All your combinations were inside, and the body work, which you're known for in the clinch. I watched several of your old fights. I've watched all your fights, and you kill them in the clinch in the body. So the training is what it's all about. You hit the body because you know your body's tight.
Yeah. Ow. I know I love it. And I still want that like liver shop and they just drop. Like it's funny because I'm not even trying to be that brutal. How crazy that Melanie Shaw's face going viral, being just
Oh,
tore up, teeth missing. But for me, I'm thinking in my
I
head
saw
like,
I saw
damn,
the two
why?
fly out. We saw the two fly out live. We saw the two fly out live. So yeah, definitely that was amazing. In the fifth round too, you were coming on strong, and
Yeah.
she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready for that relentlessness, and that's what you're known for. You like you're one of the most determined fighters I've ever seen in my life. Like
Thank
so,
you.
while we're on that, I do want to talk about that. Like so, you're crushing the game now. I mean, you've had you're 7-1 your last 8 fights, right? You're on a 4-fight win streak, and you've really been winning ever since you kind of finally fought in your weight class. Like you've
Yeah.
been fighting above your weight class, right? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so you see me right now, I'm chilling, I'm not doing too much as far as like extreme dieting or working out, whatever. And I walk around 118. That's just what I walk around at. So you got to think I've always been, this size. So when BKFC first came out, it was at 125. So I was doing the eating donuts
Yeah,
and
yeah.
lots of food and, protein trying to gain weight, and it was a struggle, but I finally put it on, and so my walk around weight then was even just still between 125 and 130. But these girls that are fighting at 125, they're not even 130 girls. They're cutting from like 145. And I mean, people, I think, outside the fighting niche find that astonishing. And it's not like I'm trying to put a bad name or label to it. It's a widely practiced thing within combat sports, MMA, wrestling, and even other ones like competitive bodybuilding and or the bikini shows, fitness model shows, whatever. But it is a science, and you can do it safely, so it is very possible. But the more weight, obviously it's hard. Like I can lose 10 pounds comfortably in a week, which sounds wild, but to lose 15 pounds in a week would be detrimental to my health. So sometimes I don't really do that, even though for these bigger girls, and I only say that for me because I'm smaller, so I don't have that ability. But when you're bigger, you have that ability to cut off the water weight, muscle, etc. But
Well,
yeah,
and
my
also
weight
though,
class.
so yeah, saying that, yeah, the strawweight class, like because there's not as many fighters. Well, it's becoming more popular now, of course, but I'm sure as a female fighter, you face this. You've been fighting competitively for what, 50? How long now? Like, has it been 10 years? 15 years? How long has it been?
No, wildly enough, I started in 2016. I never did anything. I mean, I fought in
Wow,
college, but
7 years.
yep, that's it. Since I walked into a gym, like a boxing gym.
Well, I did do some background on that, so I do know. You got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? You got it out the mud. You restarted several times, but I also know that you have a bachelor's from Lynchburg and a master's from ODU. So not only can you throw them hands, you sharp upstairs too.
Yes, I try. Yeah, thank you. And I try to. I learned that young. The knowledge is power, and it goes in boxing too. The IQ, like you said, just being fast, knowing how to train that, knowing that, yeah, I am small, so I'm not quitting and giving up, but being smart enough to know that I can train speed to beat this and what I need to do. But yeah, I love, and I preach everybody, to get your education in some sort because it can help you tremendously. And so for kids or anybody going through college, like finish that shit because at the end of the day, that's something like we're talking about now. I graduated in 2013, but that's something that will never be able to be taken away from me. There's nothing anyone can do to diminish the fact I graduated with a degree. So super strong and passionate about that, and then use that to be a badass.
I mean, that's a well-rounded badass right there. And I mean, the explosion that you guys are seeing, I mean, your stardom is just skyrocketing right now on the internet. I mean, I see a lot more. And I've been following you on Instagram for quite some time. So I know that you train religiously. And I know also you work, a 9 to 5 and mostly a physical job. You keep a physical job. So let's talk about the explosion of bare knuckle the last 24 months. I mean, there's multiple leagues now. Ken Shamrock's got this league. I saw a league with chicks in a triangle ring, bare knuckling it out. So let's talk about that for a minute. What do you think about that, Britton?
Yeah, I actually love all those guys. Obviously, I'm loyal to BKFC, but the way I kind of label it is like, everybody loves MMA, right? But you got UFC, kind of the King Daddy, and then you got Bellator and Victa, and they're all very awesome promotions. That's kind of how I feel about Bare Knuckle. I think BKFC is the king of them all, but I freaking love BYB, which is the Triangle. I've actually been a coach in a corner several times for them, and know a
Oh,
lot of their fighters and think they're great. And then with Ken, I'm excited to see what he does with it. I think everything is, I think if we all work together, if people are into this sport, it helps it grow. And growing for these other companies means growing in BKFC too, having more talent, either have a new home or opportunity to go to, or for us to bring more people in and them climb the ladder and have more of that experience. So I think all the way around, it's going to work out really great if we all support each other.
well, I agree. And I think bare knuckle, I mean, I've always been a combat sport fan. I boxed when I was a really young kid. And I really feel like it's a great outlet and a great sport. Bare knuckle, though, in my opinion, is taking off because it's the excitement of MMA and boxing. It's fast paced, but you can't grab, you can't tackle, you can't hold. You got to throw them hands. These hands is ready to eat for everybody. And it's not a tough man contest type deal. It's skill. It's a lot of boxing skill. I've been to several shows now in a row, and it's a lot of skill in that ring. So I think bare knuckle is gonna. I mean, everybody I take when I take them after they leave the experience, they're like, "That's the best shit I've ever seen."
Oh,
You know.
absolutely. I
And
tell people that too. I'm
BKFC,
like, yeah,
yeah. Shout
we're
out
like
to
bare
BK.
knuckle real people. But I'm like, dude, it's not even because I'm a fighter. I'm not even trying to sell myself or the organization. I wholeheartedly mean when you go to one of these events, you're gonna be like, holy shit, what did I
Yes,
just watch? And I want
yes.
more. So it's super cool to see. I know as sports and comics fans that we have that same experience. And it's not that we know what our experience is, but it's the look on our friends' faces when they're like, whoa, that was like, and before it's, why do you do that? That's kind of
Well, you
brutal,
can
but
hear them. You hear them
look
slaps. You
bananas.
hear them. The bare knuckle punches. Nothing sounds like them when they land. Shout out to Junior and Tony. Shout out to them. They're building a hell of a product there at BKFC. And with that app, I mean, look at this month. I mean, you're paying a minimum amount, what, like $7.99, and you're getting 4 pay-per-views this month alone. You know, Bulgaria, Thailand, Miami. I mean, you're getting some amazing fights for like $7.99. If you like, I mean, I love UFC, but you're spending $150 a month.
Yeah,
So
for an event. And it's just, I mean, it's so easy to pull it up and watch on your phone so you never have to worry about missing it
or
and
to
being
simulcast
on.
to your TV, or if send it right to your TV like I do with my smart TV. Boom, and you watching it on the
Yeah, and
big
then it's
screen.
a fight party.
So yeah, I think it's great what you guys are doing. And so right while I have you though, I do want to ask you about something. I want to ask you about. I know that early on in your career when you were boxing, you were in the Roy Jones camp for a while. You were training. The first time I ever read about you, you were on an undercard of a late Jones fight. I was a huge
Yeah.
Roy Jones Jr. Fan all my life. I'm that he's of my age, so that's my man right there. Uh, but let's talk about that a little bit. What's that experience like training with Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, he's my favorite. So like you, he's my favorite boxer. He's the boxer I idolize the most in terms of just whole package. And that's kind of what dealing with him and training with him kind of, I think I really absorbed that and soaked that in. Anyone can learn how to box. I really do mean that. You can throw these punches. Whether you know how to defend stuff and put it together, that's on you. But everyone can learn it as a fitness, shadow boxing on their own, non competitive. It's not hard. And so when you put it in a competitive form, think of how many people are in the gym training just like me. There's tons of people that are doing what I do. And, same thing goes for, in any profession. But there's always these rare few individuals that have something that you don't do. Like put your hands down, put your hands behind your back, block like this. There's certain things they don't teach you to do that because certain things, but there's individuals that have this God-given talent and skill that makes them just a little bit step above. And as long as they're working hard, their skill is unmatched because it's not learned. It's a God-given talent. Like they couldn't unlearn it. And so I really felt that about him and being around there. And I was so nervous. I remember the first day I showed up to practice with him. I
Me
was
too,
so,
man.
I mean, I was like, oh my freaking God. I probably didn't breathe the whole round. I was so nervous. But at the end of it, it was mind blowing. And the fact that I was like, oh, wow, I can do this. Like, this is what he's doing and what his world champ is going, because I was her sparring partner. And shout out to Ingram Kerwat too, because she still messages me to this day to check on me and be a mentor in the female, boxing world. And I'm just so blessed to have that experience from 7-ish years ago. But they both gave me that belief, like, I can do this. And so I left that training camp with that. Not only the skill and the things I learned from him, but the knowledge of boxing IQ and the knowledge of why we do things and why we get away with certain things, and knowing that you have the confidence to get away with those certain things, such as the hands being down and whatnot. And I really started believing in myself that I could be not only do what they do, but that I could be different. And so it's taken me a couple of these years, but I think that's what makes me an exciting fighter. And I contribute that to Roy Jones Jr. and a lot of other people that I met, is because you never know what Britain Hart's going to do in the ring, because it's always evolving and growing. Where I'm stockpiling what I learned from people, taking the gift of their knowledge and time that they spent with me, and making it not just a copycat, but making it my own.
Yeah, and I feel like, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I feel like you stepped into a gym and you wanted to release frustrations, and you found out you had a talent. And if talent and people that see you, especially putting yourself in that kind of arena around the Roy Jones and him giving you the confidence that, yeah, if you can do this professionally, then I see why. I mean, you jumped in the deep end really quick. Like, I mean, and you've had a lot of success and it's been really fast. And I feel like, you coming on strong, Britt. I mean, this is so in the future, what do you, as a dream fight, who would you like to see next? I know what's your timeline on the healing of the hand?
I really want to give it, at the very least, like, short term goal. I want to give it my all this next 2 years. I'm 33, so I just want to pour. I've gone through some life problems and trials and tribulations, like we all have, but I really just want to be like devoted and like in a relationship with the game, if that makes sense. Like, eat, breathe, and sleep
Definitely
it.
makes
And
sense. Yeah.
this is my time. When one door closes, another one opens. So here it is. I'm gonna make it a life worth living, and an opportunity not wasted. And so I think that it's a hard field. You can't be doing it all your life. You got to be realistic with it. But I feel like if I can pour everything I have every day for the next 2 years, that I really feel like I have the ability to walk away as a bare knuckle legend and a boxing legend. I want to go
Well,
back to boxing. I didn't finish my career in boxing, and I knew I was better. Just nobody would give me the chance, and people don't realize that. And sometimes I wish that story would get out, is that I'm still the girl with the chip on her shoulder, and the fact of the hell I had to walk through, and nobody would pay attention to me. Nobody would give me the time of day. And it was just all these shitty things after, like, one after another. And then BKFC happened, and it was like, even though it was shitty and I wasn't really supposed to win, I had made it so
right.
undeniable. There was no way, because I had the platform for people to see me. And so now that people actually see me, look, like, I'm here, like, look what I'm doing, like knocking people's teeth out and not like even having a mark. I'm an
Beautiful,
entertaining
by the
person.
way. Super hot, probably the hottest fighter in the game, period, in combat sports.
And see,
Yeah.
look, I have, I thank you so much, because here I am thinking, man, well, you got so many other pretty women in combat sports with Paige and Rachel and,
Yeah, but
Taylor
you beat them
Swift.
up though. But you beat them up. I watched you beat them up.
Yeah. And so, no, I haven't. I'm competitive on all levels. And so this is my new era. Like you said, you've been seeing me grow. And my new era is like, all right, look, I took your shit. I walked through it. I played that part. I earned this spot. Now give me my respect. And I'm definitely looking for a new era of Britain to believe that I am going from the greatest to the best.
Well, I definitely can see you springboarding this. I mean, your BKFC success. You're the queen bee. They got to be really happy with your success at the company. You're headlining shows as a female. You've co-headlined. You've headlined. You packed the place in Salem. The place was going crazy all night for you. So I mean, I'm sure they're really happy, and I can see you. This reign lasting as long as you want it to. Really, as long as you're committed and serious. and then you can springboard that to some a bigger money fight, boxing fight, and overseas is where you want to go because that's where all them scrappers are at 115, though, right? That's over in Thailand and in that area. That's where, and we're looking forward at some point seeing you. I know you want to travel and fight, but I mean, just know that the world is watching. I see you gaining followers every day. I mean, you are on the up. I can't wait to see who you fight next. And I heard you. Is this true? You're in a Tubi movie? Are you in one of these? Because I myself am in a few Tubi. Are you in a Tubi movie?
So there's this movie coming out that I went and shot with Master Jose Torres up in New Jersey area, and we had a really great team of people from really credible movie backgrounds and diverse backgrounds. It was such a cool experience. We shot it in
Nice.
June, and it's being because it's a movie, so it takes some time. Like when you shoot it, now I'm realizing it because I want you guys to watch it now. Like I can't wait for people to see it, but it's going through that process. It's going to be released February 2024. So keep in contact and touching on the
Okay.
lookout.
Oh yeah, February. There we go. There we go. So I've actually been in a few, and I need to talk to the gentleman here. We out of the famous Mighty 2-6 Vietnam, where J Cole's hometown. That's where we out of. I wanted to ask you, since you had cross paths with Roy Jones earlier, you ever heard Michael Williams Jr.'s name? Young
Yeah,
boxer from.
we're super buddies. I hope he like I
Hang
consider
on
him
one second.
fam.
Hang on one second.
Mr. Mich-
Sorry about that. But yeah, but go ahead. Michael Williams Jr. Yes.
I consider that guy like family to me.
Well, that's
We
great because
I
he's
love
on
him.
this show.
Dad.
He's on this show tonight, so that's
Um,
fantastic.
Yeah, well, I hope he says the same about me. I think I haven't talked to him in a bit, but man, I rep his. Actually, when I usually box, my boxing shoes are from him
Oh,
because
word.
he got the dopest boxing shoe in the game. If Roy Jones Jr. would come out more of his Jordans, then yeah, but he stopped making them. So sorry, guys. But Michael Williams Jr. has some, and they're freaking fire. I have four pairs, and I love them all. But more so than that, we come from the Norfolk area. We have the same kind of friends, and he's just we had like a little thing in Charlotte where it was like a music awards ceremony and we met up and he's just always been a bright light. He's a great person. His light shines bright and he's just a great energy. So you should enjoy the podcast later on with him.
Well, also, I've met him before, and his father, is a great Fayetteville son of our city. They do great things for our city all the time. I went to BKFC 52 on Friday night in Columbia. Shout out to my little brother Josh. I believe you know him. That's my little brother. And then I came back home Saturday, and Michael Williams Jr. won the NBA championship, welterweight championship here at Crown Coliseum in Fayetteville. So he recently won a world championship last Saturday night.
That's amazing. Congrats. Tell him, give him a fist bump for me.
All right,
I've
no
been
doubt.
kind
Well,
of out of it.
no doubt. Well, I've seen what you've been dealing with. I mean, you've been whirlwinding around since the fight. By the way, a flurry of activity on the internet since you so thoroughly, man. Poor Shaw, and just so we say this, she said, "Man, I knew she would be tough, but I just didn't know she was not going to get tired." Like she said,
You know what? My,
oh,
my fight, I'm known for that. I never get tired. It's a joke. I'm like,
"Well,
man, I'm telling you, I'm an energizer bunny, that's for sure. Don't the best thing I have is cardio, but I was on fire that night too, that's for sure.
So, but, I don't want to keep too much of your time, but I want to ask you a question while we got you here. So I don't know if you get on the internet a lot. I'm sure, you have your opportunities. So first date, I mean, are you getting pissed off if I take you to the Cheesecake Factory? Are you not getting out the car or what? Do you have a list like this list? Have you
Wait,
heard the list?
a list of what? The Cheesecake Factory? Where
So hang on, let me give you a little background, Britt.
yeah, because now I'm
So
like, I don't know.
all right. So recently, this is went viral that a young lady put a list out on the internet of places you cannot bring a date on the first date. It was
Uh
Cheesecake Factory, it was Red Lobster, it was Applebee, it was a whole list of stuff. Bowling, can't take
dude,
them all. This.
Cheesecake Factory's awesome. Take me out on a date. Well, ask that guy. Take me to Cheesecake Factory. I love Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. Well, hey, I appreciate you giving us your time. And in the world of combat sports, man, you are a rising star, and we are definitely fans. We'll be keeping an eye on you, and hopefully be able to check in with you in the future when you get a fight plan, because I want to see you in action as soon as possible.
No, me too. That's why you see me. I've been trying not to get down with, my big dream and goal of going to Thailand. I've been kind of scared of myself the last month, trying not to like fall flat. So that's why I've been kind of behind on some of the things. But I'm trying to let everyone know, hey, I'm working. I actually like try to keep, I took some time off because of the fight, and I'm trying to
Hmm.
be a woman of my word. And I told him I would make up the days. So here I am. When my hands hurt, I'm making up all the days that I missed, making right on that. So that took me some time. I'm going through surgery. I'm having physical therapy on top of the holidays, on top of I have a brand new puppy, on top of just realizing what the hell I just did. I did have to let go of one of my coaches, and I didn't
Oh
really have
wow.
a management team, but I had a little bump in the road there that was pretty um, unfortunate. So I'm signing with a new management company, so I've been working on that. So a lot of like exciting yet stressful things that I know people didn't realize, but I just didn't trust myself enough to get on too much to answer my messages or tell people really what's going on. So I apologize for that, but thank you for
Well, I
checking up
appreciate.
on me and having this
I
podcast.
appreciate you. I actually appreciate you coming on and letting your fans know that, because I mean, people follow you on IG and they see, you know what I'm saying, you live a very busy lifestyle. And, the fight game is a lot, it's multifaceted, right? It's not just about getting in the ring. There's a lot more goes into the fight game as far as management, managing your time. And you're still a full time, worker. You still working, you still have family, you still, a mother, you still have a life to live. So we understand that, and it's dope. You're one of the baddest, like what I said at the beginning of the show, one of the baddest women in combat sports. I love it.
Thank you. I'm gonna fight my ass off. I promise. Keep watching because I'm literally here and trying to be here on my badass skills, and so it's only gonna get better.
All right, we'll keep watching for you. And Circle of Kings, man, a huge, huge, huge shout out to Britton Hart. Thanks, champ. Hey, the reign will live as long as you want it to.
That's right. Amen.